Everybody is focused on their own issue, and that to them is the most important. And that is exactly as it should be. Everybody's own issue should be the most important to them. But they should also be aware and be able to look at people's other issues, people who have issues that are more important to them. And they should recognize that in each issue, every issue comes down at the bottom line. For every health issue comes the right to choose using informed information. It doesn't matter what the issue is in the health field, every individual has the right to choose. It's the generic issue in health. And when somebody's working on a very specific issue that they think is most important, the best way for them to get allies is to recognize that other people who have really important issues also need to face the question of choice. Once everybody in the health field understands that choice is the key thing that they're all working toward, they can become allies for issues that they are not the primary leaders on and get those issues to be their allies. And a result of that is that the constituency of consumers that seek health choice in general will support each of the issues that comes up that includes health choice. When you have the system beginning to work for you, then all of the vested interests draw on their structural power, their transactional power, and try to stop you in various ways. So they will block access to information. You can see that in every issue that there's out there. Once you start the consumer moving forward effectively, then the interests that want to sell things consistently go around and want to change. They want to block the information getting to the consumer. So that becomes a major, major issue that needs to be worked on. The power structure is appealing to the same constituency as the advocates are. So the power structure, which is, let's just say, the regulators, the legislators, the courts, business community, that group of people are the ones that wield the power, and the consumers of all the various kinds of health options that exist are the constituency that they want to influence. They want to influence them by getting votes or getting money, getting rules changed. Aspiration drives our society and drives us as individuals. Aspiration is, like from the Scottish Enlightenment, the greatest happiness for the greatest number. And the way that you get happy is by making others happy. That's an aspiration. Transaction is, how do I beat the crap out of the other guy so I get elected to Congress? Or how do I beat the crap out of the other guy so that I can sell more cars? Or whatever. Operations is the way we actually act in life, the way we do things. From the activist point of view, where you're working hard to get rid of what are perceived as transgressions against the individual, the operational piece is to integrate aspiration and transaction and get that as close to the aspiration side as practically possible. My partner, Laurie Chickering, and I have taken this set of ideas and put them into transpartisan political activity. We called our book that we wrote in 2008, The Voice of the People, the Transpartisan Imperative in American Life. And now we've put that on the Maven platform as one of the channels where people can go and find what's going on in the country today that does something that's pulling together all the various interests. And it's going on all over the country, actually all over the world. You can see it. And we talk about that. We've put a note up every week for the last 100 weeks. And we will be putting out our third edition of the journal. And there's a lot of other activities go on around it. And it's important to look into. And it does use the matrix to create the political expression of what we're talking about here in Health Choice. This is the matrix that we build around politically. It has a place for every single person in the country. On every issue, they are somewhere on this matrix. Nobody is ever always to the right of anybody else, and nobody is always to the left of anybody else, and no one is seeking more freedom than everybody else all the time. We move around in this matrix issue by issue, moment by moment. In the morning, you might be more left on an issue than in the afternoon. Our politics is in constant flux. Nader wrote a book called The Emerging Left-Right Alliance to Dismantle the Corporate State. That was the subtitle. The book was Unstoppable and got support from left, right, center, core, all over the place, saying, yes, we've got this problem. And what Nader said is that at every issue he'd been successful on, he had had people from left, right, center, independents, non-voters, and so forth involved in that issue. It's really important to understand that this left-right political construct, in part, at least has the effect, and perhaps was designed to get people to focus their attention on a bunch of things that aren't all that important to them and make everybody believe that the most important thing is what goes on between the left and the right. There are many other things that are at least equally important.